Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. So today I am back with one of my opinion pieces. This is where I respond to things that are going on in the VR industry or comments that I see that just keep coming up time and time again. This video is specifically about the topic of PCVR being better and some of the more, or rather less informed opinions I keep seeing circling around this topic. The video will be about 50% venting and about 50% discussion. These are a great opportunity for us to all get together and to share our opinion, but also I want to educate people on how things work a little bit more in the VR world or just in game sales, overall the whole landscape, so people have a better understanding so they can form more educated opinions going forward. Now, before we get into that, I do want to mention the elephant in the room, this guy right here. I had some minor surgery, guys. Everything's fine, no big deal, but you're gonna have to look out for the video, and I'm sorry about that. Now, moving forward, there are of course links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by VR Rock, makers of prescription lens inserts for all of your favorite VR headsets. Quest 3 inserts are now available for purchase, and I'm extremely happy to announce that they've significantly dropped their pricing on this product. They magnetically connect for easy insertion and removal, so if you wear eyeglasses and struggle to fit them inside the VR headset, or you're concerned about scratching your lenses, go check out VR Rock down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 10% off and to help support my channel. Okay, so like I said, my goal here is to educate and inform. I'm not looking to start some type of fanboy argument. PCVR is better, Quest is better. They both have their merits, but I really want to give you guys a deeper look into the VR industry itself, what the future is, where we're headed, etc. Now, whenever we're discussing a medium that people enjoy, there's both objective and subjective aspects. Objective aspects are tangible, quantifiable, we can actually measure them. This includes things like the price of an item, the total sales, market share, and so on and so forth. And when we move into subjective aspects, that's just solely your opinion. Many people enjoy one game genre over another, and there's no real difference that you could truly measure here to say one genre is better than the other. So let's get back to the main topic at hand. The fact that I just keep seeing people arguing that PCVR is so much better than mobile VR. And subjectively, I agree. I enjoy most of my PCVR games better than mobile games on Quest. Okay, I'm with you there. However, objectively is where things really break down. But let's just go back and forth for a minute here. Clearly, PCVR offers up much better graphics. Even the latest Quest 3 doesn't even come close to competing with a low-end gaming PC. We're talking about a low-powered mobile device that's basically a glorified cell phone versus some extremely power-hungry hardware that can cost hundreds to even thousands of dollars more. Additionally, PCVR offers up a lot more accessory options, features some more accurate tracking, and it also has a pretty amazing mod scene. Things like the universal mod injector are giving PCVR players a reason to put their headset back on. Now, if graphics and overall immersion were the only aspect we were ranking VR games on, then sure, PCVR wins, maybe even hands down. But it goes a lot deeper than that because the VR industry cannot be supported on PCVR games alone. That's just the truth, guys. PCVR had its time and it didn't pull its weight. Even Valve jumped in, who knew VR pretty much better than anyone else, took one of their most well-known IPs, made a AAA title, basically the only AAA title in VR, and sure, it did double the number of PCVR players almost overnight, but when you're looking at 2 to maybe 4 million PCVR players, that just cannot support or justify AAA development. So VR just was stagnating and not growing at the rate it needed to. So Meta was forced to pivot and we got the Quest. I think you guys all already know this story. There was a time that Meta was under the belief that better games would make PCVR grow, and they funded titles like Asgard's Wrath and Stormland, but that still wasn't enough. So Meta was forced to make VR more convenient and a lot cheaper. And it worked. The number of Quest sales is more than tenfold bigger than all of PCVR combined. And all the developers will tell you that's where they make their money. So no one is jumping back to PCVR development solely anymore. Like maybe you'll get this one-off game here or there, but 99% of titles are focusing Quest because they want to make money. They want to stay in business and they can't do it with PCVR. So while PCVR may still give you the better gaming experience, it does not help the industry. It doesn't help the developers. It's not sustainable. So I hope you guys understand how this quickly moves the concept of better. In a perfect world, we'd not only get cheap, convenient hardware, but we would also maintain the same level of graphical detail. Unfortunately for right now, that's just not in the cards. And for the last few years, the quality of VR games took a significant step backwards as everyone had to retool and focus on Quest development. Now, I'm sure this makes me sound like a meta fanboy lately, but the writing is on the wall, guys. It's clear as day. PCVR was the past, mobile VR is the future, and if you're looking at the industry, that's just where it's headed. So unless the Decker comes out in like a year or two, it has an x86 architecture, supports everything on Steam, runs amazing, nothing's going to change unless something like that happens. You know, listen, PlayStation VR2 tried to do the high-end VR thing again. You had the cable, which was a sacrifice I was definitely willing to take. I've said for years, I will take my cable any day for higher quality VR games. The problem is, PlayStation VR2 didn't really deliver. We got a handful of really good games, but the majority of them are hybrid games we've already played on flat screen. Then you get something like Horizon Call of the Mountain, which was really good but not exceptional, and the PlayStation VR is just really not doing too well. Now, I was hoping for the longest time when PlayStation VR2 comes out, Valve would see this as an opportunity, work together a bit with Sony like they've been doing on all of their flat games, and then we could finally see a resurgence in higher quality VR titles. However, even between the PlayStation VR2 and all of the PC VR owners, it's just still way too niche of a community to support AAA title games. And AAA games is a topic that I need to focus on for a minute here. That term has nothing to do with the quality of the game, and it's reserved solely for the game's overall budget. Now, historically, to meet this criteria was something like 60 million, but recently, AAA titles like God of War or Horizon Forbidden West have ballooned to over $200 million. So you'll need tens of millions of players on your platform to just break even on a project of this magnitude. This is a risk that only the biggest of studios can take on, and when it comes to VR, not only is the community smaller, but the risk is even bigger. And this brings me to a topic which has basically been causing a lot of this debate lately, and that's Asgard's Wrath 2. I've been calling this Meta's Half-Life Alyx for multiple different reasons, which we're going to break down now, and you guys can continue to argue over it in the comments. Now, just to get the subjective aspect out of the way, this is my ideal VR game. I love the original title, but what they did with the second game brings it so much further. I love VR games that are a spectacle to behold with some top-notch action. No one really delivers high-quality cinematics in VR, let alone ones that highlight the specific hardware. I also really enjoy the combat. The game feels like God of War to me, a title I truly love. And while yes, the graphics do take a hit compared to the original game, they succeed more than enough where they need to. The object of the graphics in a VR game is to maintain the illusion. Don't break the immersion. And here they succeed, the game looks great, and I don't really feel like I'm missing out too much. Would I love PCVR quality graphics? Absolutely, but you can't have everything in life. Now, I will get back to this topic in a moment, but let's go into the objective facts why this is Meta's Half-Life Alyx. For starters, Meta is giving this game away for free to anyone who bought their new Quest 3 platform, just like Valve did with the Index and Half-Life Alyx. Now, in terms of sale price, these are both $60 games, and until Arizona Sunshine 2 launched, Asgard's Wrath 2 would have been the most expensive Quest title. And when it comes to the overall budget of the game, we don't have definitive numbers on both Half-Life Alyx and Asgard's Wrath 2, but it was projected that Half-Life Alyx was anywhere from 60 to 120 million. Now, those numbers will include the game's promotional budget, and in that facet, Meta's been going pretty hard. Asgard's Wrath 2 had a trailer at the Game Awards, it was being showcased on the Las Vegas Sphere, and numerous other outlets. Additionally, Asgard's Wrath 2 features a top-tier voice cast, and I wouldn't be surprised if this budget alone came in at over $1 million. This is also an insanely massive game, and anyone in the game industry can tell you that the most expensive part of a game is the cinematics. Now, while that might sound absurd, everything else you make in a game can be reused. Artwork, animations, special effects, and even good portions of the voice acting are constantly reused. Cutscenes are the least cost-effective way to extend your gameplay. And not only does Asgard's Wrath have plenty of them, but they're all absolutely fantastic. And this right here leads me to the discussion of, well, if Asgard's Wrath 2 is the next big thing, why isn't it on PC, huh? Then it would be the super most best-er-ist. Like I said, guys, PCVR is the past. It's not cost effective for them to do all the QA that they need to on this game to get it to run on the insane array of PCVR devices out there. It's just not worth it. It's not cost effective. And I know I talked about cutscenes not being cost effective, but that adds to the overall game. This may get them a few extra sales that they'll never recoup their money on all the extra work they had to do. Think about it. They have to redo all their textures for higher resolution for the people who have the 4090s or even, even just mid-range hardware. They have to see how the game runs on a huge array of different systems. It's just insane. It's just not going to happen, guys. It's not worth it for them. Additionally, Meta is just so done with PCVR. They've made that loud and clear. They don't care about PCVR. Everything going forward is mobile. End of story for them. I know you guys don't like it. I didn't like it for a long time. I just had to get over that. I wished for the longest of time that PCVR development would continue. I wish that PlayStation VR2 would help revitalize PCVR and higher end VR games, but that didn't really happen either. So this is what we're stuck with. Now this kind of sounds like I'm settling, and for the longest of time I was just settling for whatever Quest had to offer. It's a good game, I'll enjoy it, but I was still longing for PCVR. I will say, honestly, that Asgard's Wrath 2, as much as I wish it was on PC, this is the first game that I jumped into and I said, wow, I can't believe I'm on a Quest. I feel like the gap has significantly closed. I feel like I will really enjoy VR as much as I did PCVR going forward on the Quest. I truly feel that way. And I know you guys, a lot of people who invested into PCVR early on, it sucks. I felt that way for the longest time. We supported this industry. We made it grow. We've been preaching about it. We got other people to buy into it. And now we've been left in the dust, the original OG PCVR owners. Yes, it does have many aspects that make it better than mobile VR, but you gotta face it, guys. Mobile VR is cheaper, more convenient. You can take it anywhere. You don't need base stations up on the walls. You don't need a cable. There's a lot of aspects of it that just make it more appealing, especially that price tag. And now with that gap closing, guys, there's really almost no reason for PCVR anymore. If you enjoy your flat to VR mods, keep enjoying them. The universal mod injector is really cool, but for people who want games that are made from the ground up for VR, like Asgard, that's me. I'm in that category. I want games that know how to utilize VR, take it to the next level. And honestly, this is one of the first titles I've seen do that in the longest time. So to me, it is definitely Meta's Half-Life Alyx. I love it. I do miss my PCVR. I hope the Deckard, can change something like that in the future. But for now, this is where we are. And I'm honestly not sad about it. It is what it is. You have to accept change in life. The Quest 3 is a solid device. It still can't compete with PCVR, but the gap is closing. Things are getting better and better. And I'm just more excited for PCVR than I've been in quite some time. Now I'm going to end this video here, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. My ear is absolutely killing me right now, maybe because I'm talking so much, whatever the case may be, but I got to take a break before I edit this down. So if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I'd love to hear your feedback down in the comments, and I'll see you guys on next time.